Hello, this is Katie. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first video, I am doing a video every day in May. So this is, I'm going to kind of call this a Mother's Day card. It's not going to say anything about Mother's Day, but let's go with it. So I have a card base. I trimmed a teeny tiny bit, and I actually ended up trimming a tiny bit more. So it is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 with like some millimeters taken off because I was using the same piece of paper to work with all of this, and it ended up being a little short where I needed it. So I am using the pink sheet from the 6x6 Spring Fling pad from Fawn as my background. I definitely got this idea / copied a card that Audrey Tokach, I don't know how to say her last name, made for Fawn. Although I don't have Fawn's butterfly dies, I do have other ones from Paper Tray Ink that I will show you. So I stuck that down to the card base. This is the smaller of the two butterflies. And then the set comes with 4. And there's a smaller and a big one. They're the same pattern, like that. And then a solid shape of the same 2 sizes. So you can put stuff behind it, things like that. I was pointing to that because it's 5 1/2 by 3 3/4. So I took a 1/2 inch off the left. And then I'm going to be die cutting 2 butterfly holes out of this panel that's going to go on the card. I was kind of upset after I ran this through twice, and I ran the second one through 4 times. I still have to, what I paused for, I got out my X-Acto knife and I had to cut around the antlers. I don't know. Antenna? The antenna. It wasn't coming out, and I need both of these pieces. Both of these parts are going to go on the card, so I couldn't like rip it out. I had to be gentle, so I was trying not to put bends in the card like I am now. So I think I paused because I need to get my X-Acto knife and kind of slice on it. So I got that out okay, and then I have a feeling I'm going to have to do it for the second one. So I set the second butterfly in there, and then I actually end up running it through 4 times. I thought maybe that would help and it would cut the antenna free, but I have to X-Acto knife it again. It's okay. It was only like 2 or 4 cuts I had to make just to kind of pop out the V of the antler. Antler? It's not antlers. It's antenna. I'm sorry. But it's still kind of irritating that it didn't do it. I don't actually think I've run the smaller one through. I've only run the big die through, so it probably is a defect with the die. I've just had them for years and apparently never used the small ones. So now I have my 2 small ones cut out. We will be coming back to these. I actually forget about them, so this video I had to mash together 2 clips because I forgot the layout of the card, and I had set them aside. So now I'm going to use the stitched windy backdrop. The horizontal one probably would have been better, but I only have the vertical one. I think that's what she used on the card, is the horizontal. So it looks like it's blowing left to right, but it doesn't really matter. I like the way it ends up looking anyway. So I am running that through. And this one, this die actually cuts out the frame too. So it cuts out the 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. As well as the stitching. And so I had to make sure that my paper was kind of inside of that because I didn't want it trimmed down any further. It was already trimmed to the size that I wanted it. So I pulled this out very carefully. The stitching kind of holds it in there really well. And that looks really cool. So I am setting that aside. And then I'm done with the big shot. So I'm just putting that die away. And then on the card base, I'm going to be using some like champagne-y gold colored washi tape. I think here I'm talking to my husband about something. I think our leasing office was calling us about renewing our lease, but whatever. So slight pause. And then, so I just tore off a strip, and I'm going to put that along the spine side. Not on the edge, but a little bit in so you can still see the flowers. Again, this is based on Audrey's card too, so it looks probably identical at this point. And then I'm just going to flip it over and trim off from behind the washi that I do not need. I think I'm doing that off camera, sorry. Oh, there we go. Sometimes it's hard for me with these scissors. It might just be these scissors because they're so straight. It's hard for me to do that even from the backside. But that is fine. I'm just showing you the washi tape. I have that in that champagne goldish color and also silver. And I have black and red, I think are all my glitter ones. But they come in handy. Because I don't really have, I don't know, I didn't want to have to dig through or find glitter paper, so that just worked in the meantime. And then this panel is going to stick down, so I'm going to use my tape runner very carefully to fill in. And exactly what happened right there. I end up picking it up with my fingers because my fingers are stuck to it. And then I end up like bending the paper and putting an ugly crease in it or ripping it or something stupid like that. So I'm trying to be careful running my tape runner in all the spots that are going to touch while trying to unstick my fingers. And even in the little skinny sections there. And then I just keep holding it up to the light to see where I've missed, so I know where it needs filling in. And I keep needing to fill in more and more spaces than I recall. I think that covered it. So since it needs to line up against the right side, I turn the card around and actually open it up as well. So I'm not even dealing with the back side of the card. And then I line it up to the side it needs to be on and then stick it down. And so we still have that piece of gold, champagne-ish gold washi poking out. But along the bottom, it's kind of, you can see it didn't totally cover it. So I'm just going to trim like a millimeter off of the whole bottom of the card. And this paper trimmer is pretty good. I have the rotary one with the round blade, and I just pressed down really hard and run over it twice, and it got that, except for that very tip, which I will cut off with my scissors. I just don't trust myself to cut a straight line. I have better scissors for that, but I wasn't about to attempt that because it probably would have made it look awful. So now I'm going to use the stitched wavy banner, Wavy Sayings banner, by itself, cut out of white cardstock. And I'll just grab my sidekick to do that. And I've mentioned before, my craft mat is taped down to a poster board that is taped down to my desk. And so securing my sidekick with the little lever, it doesn't stay. It always just detaches itself. It will stick to like a straight table. I've done that before. And it will stick to my teal, like cutting mat, my American Crafts one, if I use that. But that one also just moves around on top of my table. But I'm going to be using the Love You Lots sentiment from Wavy Sayings by Fawn that goes with these wavy banners. All of those banners that I just showed you on my magnet sheet are from two sets. There was a very simple, the simple one, and then the one that comes with the stitched one, the folding one, and the one that is a border. So combined, they make it one very good set of wavy banners to go with these sentiments. So this is why I mentioned it kind of looks like a Mother's Day card, and it could be, but it doesn't say Happy Mother's Day. So I think this would make a great Mother's Day card. And I'm going to lift the sentiment up on some foam tape. So I have a little bit of this foam tape left on this roll. It's a thinner one. And then I bought a wider one from Amazon that I've been using because it was the same length and it was cheaper. So technically it's more foam tape for less money. So why not? And when I stick it to the back of like full card panels or backgrounds, it saves me a lot of time because it's wider. But this one was the width of kind of the back of this. So I used my thinner foam tape for that. And then I'm just trying to re-bone folder the side so that the card sticks down a little bit. And Audrey's card had this going off of the edge, which makes sense. And I wanted the whole thing to fit, but it was covering the butterflies and I just didn't want to do that. So I did end up having it go off the edge, and then I just flip it over and chop off the excess. So then here is where I forgot about the butterflies I was going to put back on. And also my little quick stick it, oops, sorry. My quick stick it blue thing was holding onto my sequins a little too well. So I got frustrated and I ended up using, I think, my tweezers and my fingers. In another video that I just did in the last day or so, I have sequins. I think it's yesterday's video. I use glossy accents, but then I also fill the sequin with a tip that I learned from somebody. I can't remember who learned it from somebody else. I also can't remember, but it fills, this is where I'm done with my blue stick it gum. And then I just grab my tweezers. To fill the cup of the sequin with glossy accents as well, because it's just going to dry clear and glossy anyway, but it's also going to extra hold down your sequin because it's got glue on bottom and on the top. I was kind of like spraying glue everywhere because I kept squeezing it out horizontally for some reason. So I stuck those down and then I filled up each one with some more. There was some blue stickum gum from my tool on the sequin, so I was trying to scrape that off first. And then filled it with a little bit of glossy accents in each of the cups. Then I thought I was done, so I was showing you the card, and I'm going to have to voice over this second clip separately. So this is going to end kind of funny. You probably wouldn't have known that unless I told you. So I will fix that in a minute. All right, so this is the second clip that I took after I realized that I forgot the butterfly bones. And so I'm cutting what ended up being a little too thick, a bunch of strips to put on the back end of the butterfly. So I think I just pause after this on my video to just put foam tape all over the backs of both of the butterflies. And then, so I have one of them done and peeled all the things off. So I'm showing you sticking it down. So I just wanted to give it some dimension to have it come out. And I'm pretty sure, if I remember, Audrey's card had it kind of popped up as well. So you can kind of see the line around it and give some shadow to the pattern paper behind it. And then I'm just peeling off the foam tape backings of the second one. I used to be so much faster at this. I don't know why I have slowed down. And then just sticking that one in to its puzzle piece spot. I really, really like this card, and it was also super quick and easy to imagine and like how to do it from beginning to end. And I'm glad I had those butterflies, even though their antennae do not cut properly. And then here I spend way too much time trying to scrape off where I think I got some glue, and I think I end up ruining that part of the paper. Hopefully you won't notice in the picture of it, but that's okay. Anyway, that is the card, and thank you for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow